We're gonna go over the top 4 plyometric exercises that you can use for throwing, and we're gonna start right now. Okay, so in the world of throwing, we're gonna be discus throwers, javelin throwers, hammer throwers, weight throwers, shot putters, right? So we're gonna be a little bit heavier, a little bit bigger individuals. But we also happen to be some of the most explosive athletes on the planet. If you look at gymnasts, maybe weightlifters, the next most explosive sport is going to be throwing. We have to apply a ton of force in a very short period of time. So we have to train impulse. And in this case, it's gonna be blast impulse. Okay, so we have to accelerate and implement very, very rapidly. Being bigger, we have to learn how to use our body weight, how to use our mass at very, very high speeds. So when we're training plyometrics, that's gotta be the main goal. The main goal is that we have to learn how to absorb energy, we have to learn how to reuse energy, and we have to learn how to fire our nervous system with intent to be as fiery, as twitchy as possible. And that's what's gonna lead into those monster throws. Typically, if you have a thrower who's really, really strong, but they're not super explosive, they're not throwing as far as they could be, using these 4 exercises is what's gonna get them to hit that monster PR. Now, this first key exercise is something that we use when we're peaking. I'll use it with Sam Mattis, with Rachel Fatherly, with Alex Rose, with anyone who's a world-class thrower. We like to look for hip mobility and being explosive through that larger range of motion. Now, we're gonna use this brick wall, okay? So this concrete wall here. If we don't have access to this wall, and this is about 16 to 18 inches, okay? You can use a box. And as we get closer to peaking season, we're gonna diminish the size of the wall, or the box in this case, and go down to about 12 to 14 inches. So it makes it a little bit easier, it can be a little bit twitchier. But this is a jump step up, okay? So we wanna focus here. We're gonna have our foot on the edge, and ideally I won't fall into the pit. I'm gonna drive up, hit, come back up, okay? And drive as explosively as possible. Now, that's my first couple reps. I'm just trying to feel it out. I'm just trying to feel that rhythm. You can see here, my hips are a little bit below 90 degrees. As I get warmed up and as I get a little bit twitchier, I can go here, boom, 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 boom. And the whole goal is that we wanna hit and react as quickly as possible. When we hit and react as quickly as possible, that's gonna mimic when we're hitting in the middle of the circle with that right leg if we're a right-handed thrower, and staying stable in that fast position so that we can then accelerate the implement as quickly as possible, get out of the middle and smash that finish. Okay, the second key exercise is going to be a single leg jump. And I like doing this with that rear leg elevated, especially when we're using the garage strength, single leg roller and the balance pad. Now, what I wanna see is when we ground in the middle, okay, when we ground in the middle of a throw, we wanna be rigid and be able to transfer that energy really, really well. That's where this is gonna come into play. Is if you have somebody who has really, really tight hips, jump step ups, single leg hops are gonna help them quite a bit. Learn how to be more explosive in a unilateral position. That's a big factor with throwing, is that we do a lot of bilateral strength work because we need to transfer that into power output, right? Into impulse. But if we're doing unilateral plyometric exercises along with bilateral plyometric exercises, that's gonna help us take that massive engine that we're building and turn that into an extremely twitchy individual. So it's gonna look like this, where we have that back leg up here. I wanna touch, jump, and try and react as quickly as we can. And then as you get closer to the season, you might even do something where you pause, trying to feel that middle position. And sometimes we'll even do that with that heel elevated. So here, boom, okay? Boom. And we wanna feel that absorption here, similar to that joint angle that we're gonna hit when we're sweeping out of the back of the circle, getting that right to the middle. Do this 5 sets, 3 reps each leg as you're heading into that big peak. Everybody was that kid in the year 2000 when some random dude named Paul Ferenczi handed them a VHS cassette, got it translated into English, and then that ended up being the Werner Gunther training tapes. And that's where this next exercise is gonna be. Paul Ferenczi was, I believe, a world champion Highland Games guy, one of the biggest influences on my career as a thrower. And he had given me the Werner Gunther training tapes, again, back when I was a junior in high school. And so Werner Gunther was doing crazy exercises that we wanted to play around with. And that's where this exercise comes into play. So we're gonna do hurdle hops, okay? Remember, the main focus here is that we want to be as twitchy as possible. So if you can't do hurdle hops, you can do double leg bounds, you can do mini hurdle hops, but this focus has to be on reacting as quickly as possible. So the main goal is being twitchy, being explosive, and using that strength that you've built up in the off season to then turn into a massive blast impulse. So I'm gonna demonstrate here. Hopefully my pants don't fall down. Baya! So the main goal here then would be, let's say we do 5 doubles, okay? Over time, let's say we're 4 weeks out from a big peak, we might do 5 sets of 5 hurdle hops. And then as we get closer to that peak, what we do inside of the Throws University Elite Training Program, which is available at throwsuniversity.com, you should click on the link down below and go pick it up, is that we will come down to, let's do 7 doubles instead of 5 sets of 5. So now you feel a little bit fresher. You can raise the height as you get more explosive and react as quickly as possible, and that's gonna lead to those monster throws. Okay, so this last key exercise is based off of a movement from Eric Heiden. Eric Heiden is one of the most decorated speed skaters in the world, or in the history of the sport. He's also extremely explosive, and one of those things that we look for in carryover from other sports is lateral movement, unilateral movement, and is this going to be applicable to a sport like throwing? And so one of the big factors here is that in the sport of throwing, we do a lot of bilateral strength work, but we also neglect unilateral strength work. And so my goal as a coach, and this is again what we do inside the Elite Training Program, is that we want to take that bilateral power, that bilateral strength, and turn that into a positive unilateral impulse score. So what you're going to see here is I'm going to do a drop, okay, like a depth drop, land on one leg, jump to the right, land on my right leg, and jump over that mini hurdle. That's going to transfer again really, really well out of the back of the circle with this left leg planting here, and then with my right leg reacting on the side. Again, the goal's got to be land well, raise those hips, elevate those hips, react, and get forward. Here, boom. Okay, so we're going to do 3 each side. Boom. One more. Try and react a little quicker. Boom. Okay, so that's going to transfer really, really well. It's a difficult movement. I would do this 4 to 6 weeks out from a peak. It's gonna help you be really twitchy in the middle of the circle. So use all these plyometric exercises to improve your overall impulse to lead to bigger throws. Remember, if you need a program that has this stuff periodized, click on the link down below, head over to throwsuniversity.com. You can pick up our Elite Throws-based training program. Until next time, guys, peace.